Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is Sirius, and I want to talk to you today about a major nerf to mechs. After a long 24 days, the mechs have finally been nerfed. There's been a lot of arguing among players and Epic game developers over the addition of the mechs into the game. Anyone who has played Fortnite during these past few weeks knows that the mechs were completely unbalanced and seriously overpowered. Siphon, was making the game way too aggressive, but giant robots jumping around and stomping on everybody is pretty relaxing and, overall good for the game. I was surprised it took this long for the nerf to come. It got to the point where I thought Season 10 would be stuck like this. There was so much outrage from everyone in the community about the mechs, and it seemed like Epic just didn't care whatsoever. Epic must have made like a new graph and decided to make some serious adjustments, but they might have gone a little too far. I'm not upset about the nerf at all, but the mechs are pretty much trash now. Every aspect of their abilities has been reduced by drastic amounts. They got a little bit of a health buff, but it's not enough to offset the more serious changes. The mech is almost non-existent in Arena for good reasons. The spawn rate in all other game modes has been heavily cut back, and even if you do manage to find one, it's not really worth it to grab one. They're like a death trap now. They only fire 6 rockets instead of 10. The rockets fire over 50% slower, and the blast radius of the rockets has been cut, and the mech's movement speed has been seriously reduced. And the biggest nerf to hit the mechs during this entire update has been that they took away the ability to gain mats while you're in the mech. So there's no more stomping through like 3 or 4 buildings and having 3k mats. I think removing mat generation while you're in the mech is probably one of the best ways to balance it. Even if everything else stayed the same, that would be a great nerf. There's actually a penalty now for staying in the mech. So if you ignore farming all game and sit in your mech, you're not going to be prepared for end game. And with the mech's speed being reduced, it's so easy to be sprayed down and killed before you even get to kill whoever you're going after. Even with the additional 250 health, they aren't really a threat unless you don't have heals or mobility. The whole point of the mech, according to Epic, was to make the game easier for people who aren't really good at the game to be able to win. Which everybody who plays the game understands that's not the way the game should be played. Obviously, whoever has the best skill should be the one who wins. It shouldn't come down to, oh, I grabbed a robot and now I'm gonna just stomp through 10 players and win the game. But now you can't even use the mech to win the game because the damage per second is so low and the movement speed is completely reduced to a point where you're just gonna get sprayed down and exploded. So I'm not really sure where the mech fits in now. I suppose you could use it for a little bit of mobility if you're trying to make a long rotation. Maybe you landed on one side of the map and it's pulling far to the other side. You could get a little bit of distance covered with the mech, but at the same time, then you're not going to be able to farm, and once you get to where you need to be, you're going to be at a serious disadvantage. There may be other situations where you could utilize the mech even though it's been heavily nerfed. I mean, you could use it in a fight if you were low on heals, low on ammo, or you just didn't have a lot of mats and you needed to kill whoever was immediately in front of you and you happen to have a mech to use. I assume the bots will still go for mechs just to troll or because they really don't have any other way to play. And that's probably the saddest part about the mechs, is that Epic has realized that there is a large portion of their community that isn't winning games, isn't getting enough kills to feel satisfied, and so they decided to pretty much handicap an entire segment of their game. And the problem with that is that if you just give people tools to essentially, it's pretty much cheating. Like, I think we can all agree that it's cheating. If you give somebody the ability to cheat, they're never going to learn how to play. They're never going to want to get better. There's not going to be that satisfaction from, oh, I've put in this amount of hours and now I can do this. I can build better. I have better accuracy, or I can edit better. There's no gratification from that at all. There's no arc to progress along. And I'll put up the webpage that lists all the details about the nerf. It's available on their Twitter, and I believe you can get it on actually epicgames.com. But I just want to put it up there so you can see the actual statistics of what has been changed, the exact percentages, because it's a pretty big change to the game. I mean, it's a positive change. There's a lot of things that the game needs to do to move forward. I've never seen a game that has so much creative potential and the developers just constantly throw like wrenches in the system. They just want to tank their chances of this game sustaining its momentum. And it's gone up and down, A lot of people have grown frustrated with the game. There's a lot of changes, like the sword the plane, the ballers, now the mech. There's a lot of bad guns in the game. We're looking at like the drum shotgun. No place in the game whatsoever. Okay, the tac, fine. The pump, good. Combat, great. Those are 3 different shotguns that you can choose depending on your playstyle. But I feel like the game is so littered with trashy guns. There's too many revolvers. They need to make more adjustments to balance the meta. And if we're being completely honest, Epic doesn't really deserve the community that they have. The community has stuck by Epic through all of this. The ups and downs. They added the sword, they added the plane, the ballers, the mechs, all the glitches and bugs in the game that have been there for multiple seasons and have not been fixed, and the players just stick by them, and they really haven't given back to the players in a way that they should. We're at the point now where we're recycling content from multiple seasons ago. Things that have already been bought and paid for are being recycled and trying to sell back to the community just so they can make a couple more bucks off of them. So I'm not really sure where the game goes from here. I really hope that things progress much more smoothly in the future. I doubt that that will happen, but, we can all be wishful and hope for the best. I've said all I have to say about this as far as the nerf goes with the mechs and, the changes that the game needs to see if it wants to have a longer life than it probably will at the current pace. So if you like this video, I hope you would subscribe and, drop a like on the video, comment if you think I missed anything or if there's anything you want me to touch base on in another video. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and have a great time gaming.